Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of The Film With No Name, a show that talks about independent movies you may not have seen or even heard of. Well, okay, I'm not gonna lie, you've heard of this one. It's called The Shape of Water, currently streamable on Amazon. Alright, so this movie, The Shape of Water, some people may argue it's not the type of movie that fits on this show. Technically, even though it won Best Picture, it was produced by an independent production company and then distributed through Fox Searchlight. So this still counts.
Yeah.
And
Searchlight's kind of their independent wing anyway, right?
Yeah. But more importantly, so this is currently streaming for rent on Amazon. It's not a free stream. You're going to have to pay some money, but I think it's worth it. It's Shape of Water, about a lonely janitor who works at a top-secret research facility in the 1960s.
I mean, if you're a lonely janitor, if I were a lonely janitor, that's where I would want to work.
Yeah, it's way better than like a school, like a high school or something.
Yeah, no respect in those places.
And she ends up forming a unique relationship with an amphibious creature that is being held in captivity there. It is directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Never heard of him.
Well, you might have heard of some of his movies. He did Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, and Crimson Peak. Those are just 3 of his movies. This guy's done a ton of movies.
Pretty sure one of those is a comic book, right?
Oh my god! And it was written by Guillermo del Toro and Vanessa Taylor.
Oh, I've heard of her. I mean, a bunch of just a waste of screen time here. Let's see. We have Elisa Esposito, played Sally Hawkins. She's our mute.
She's our lonely janitor.
We have I haven't heard of this guy, Michael Shannon. Sounds like a girl to me. Is it Michelle Shannon? No, it's Michael Shannon, who plays Richard Strickland.
I'd like to see you say that to that man's face.
I would never. We got Richard Jenkins, another guy I've never heard of, named, he's just Giles. Giles. We also have Octavia Spencer. Again, where did they get these people? She plays Zelda Fuller. I do like Zelda.
Yeah.
The game.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time, baby.
Michael Stuhlbarg, Dr. Robert Hofsteller, who's again, like, I haven't heard of any of these people.
This last guy, a lot of people actually don't know what he looks like, but they've seen him in a ton of movies.
Right, Doug Jones, who plays the amphibian man.
The cinematographer was Dan Louston, who did John Wick Chapter 2. He worked on Crimson Peak with Guillermo del Toro, and a movie that I haven't seen called Just Another Love Story.
That's why we probably haven't seen it. I don't want to see just another love story.
Just another one.
Well, you know, you brought this movie to me. I had never heard of it. It was totally out of the blue for me, and I was pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. I mean, more than pleasantly surprised. It was pretty damn brilliant.
Yeah. Best Picture worthy?
Well, I mean, if there were an award for that, then yeah, maybe. I thought, as far as the story and script goes, it was just brilliant. It was, I love that it tackles like all these kind of genres, especially being a genre picture. And, you know, all jokes aside, you know, genre pictures don't typically get nominated for Best Picture of the year. Let alone win.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're still waiting on that one, right?
Yeah.
I loved how it was a genre picture, but it's, you know, it's got horror elements, but it's also this fantastic fantasy with this love story, and in thread throughout the whole thing, this unbelievable message of, I don't even want to say like racism, because it's really more just
it's really just bigotry in general.
Yeah.
Being afraid of what's different.
Yeah. I do think anybody would be afraid of an amphibious man.
Yeah, but not this girl. I agree with you. I think this movie, it really surprised me when it won Best Picture, because it's not a Best Picture movie. And when I say that, I mean it's not a drama.
Right.
It, like, not just a straight drama.
No,
it's
absolutely
not a historical thing. It's this beautiful fairy tale.
At the same time, it is all of those things.
But it is all of those things.
Yeah.
But it's not what you would expect for Best Picture. I thought the script was really well done. It's incredibly ballsy to have your main character be a mute.
Yeah, the 2 protagonists in this film can't speak a word. There is some sign language, and you get some.
But I loved how, like, throughout the movie, they kind of pick and chose what the sign when they're going to say the subtitles for the sign language.
Right.
You know, only in very important parts. Other parts, they did clever things of having, like, when she's telling Richard Jenkins to repeat after herself, so they don't have to do the subtitles because Richard Jenkins is saying what she's...
I'd like to see a cut of the film where there are no subtitles.
Yeah.
I will wager that you still get what's going on.
I wouldn't have known that's the sign language for egg. Spoiler alert, they show you what the sign language for egg is. I thought Guillermo del Toro did a masterful job in this entire movie. It was just so well directed.
Yeah.
The shots, everything, the way he was able to get those performances out of the actors, literally, like, everything was perfect about the way this film was directed. I feel like
the color palettes. I love green is so prevalent, and then what it does though when blood happens, that red just pops.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
We've been talking about objective filmmaking and subjective filmmaking a lot lately, and the most brilliant thing about this movie, in my opinion, is that he threads the line of objective being like what you see is what you're getting. That's the story being told, but then the subjective of this undercurrent story, right? And that undercurrent story can never be really vocalized, right? But you see it and you feel it, and Guillermo's shot choices, his creation of the image, is so telling a subjective kind of understory. Yet at the same time, we're getting an objective monster movie. And he just threads the line perfectly. And I feel like this movie's evidence, like if you can straddle that line, you can make a really great film.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, Roger Deakins deserved the Oscar for Blade Runner 2049 and many other movies that he's done. Like, that was one of those career. Words that, like... But, that being said, Dan Laustsen kind of got snubbed when it came to the awards for this movie, because this is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen.
Again, and it's a testament to anybody who can hold a camera and tell a story with one shot. Without there being any dialogue telling you a story, without there even really being characters doing stuff that pushes the story, pushes the plot, but somehow that the shot does.
The opening shot, we won't get into this until the spoiler cast, so stand by for a couple days if you want to know what we're talking about, but the opening shot kind of tells you how this movie's going to end, and that's what's so cool about it. But it also introduces this fairy tale aspect into the story. I loved this movie.
I loved it too.
The actors, I mean, as we went over the actors before, like, it's going to be hard to get a bad performance out of any of these people.
No, I mean, as far as up-and-comers go, they're pretty damn good.
Sally Hawkins, as we said, she's mute.
She's mute. Yep.
Her entire performance is really a body performance and her eyes. You know?
Yeah.
And she, like... As we said before, you don't need the subtitles when she's doing the sign language. You can tell through her eyes what her purpose is and what she needs.
She's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Michael Shannon, of course, is the scariest villain.
Honestly, I mean, if I had to pick maybe even a top 3 favorite actors alive right now, he's in there. Oh, easy. He's playing. He's the ultimate villain now. Yeah. Let's face it. He plays a villain better than maybe even Sir Anthony.
And then we have Richard Jenkins as what's her name? Elisa's friend, neighbor. Yeah. And really only other person in her life. Yeah. That's not a spoiler. That's set up pretty much from the beginning. He is fantastic. He's got a lot of subtleties that he needs to pull out in this. And he does it perfectly.
Again, another character who has the weight of carrying the opposite side of the societal subjective understory here. And man, did he... His subtlety... is just something that needs. I mean, to me, that was his. What really made the part for me is his subtlety and everything. He's
fantastic. Octavia Spencer. This woman just can do no wrong in my book. No, she's so good.
She's amazing. She can take any line and make it funny.
Yeah,
she's a great comedian.
But what she's also so good at, she could take a funny line and make it dramatic. You know, and it works either way.
Absolutely.
Michael Stuhlbarg, who is out of all of these people the least recognizable.
And to me, that is one of the biggest sins.
Because he's fantastic.
Yeah, this man should be a household name.
Yeah, I mean, if you star, he was the star of a Coen Brothers movie.
Very good one, A Serious Man. If you haven't checked that one out.
If you're the star of a Coen Brothers movie, you're not an overlooked actor.
And he was in two movies this year nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, Call Me by Your Name.
And I think he was really snubbed for Best Supporting. He didn't even get nominated for Best Supporting, I don't think.
Doug Jones is so good in this movie, and he has a very difficult part because he's head-to-toe makeups and special effects suit.
Yep.
You know? This guy acts with his body, and always does. In all of his movies, you very rarely see what he actually looks like, but he was in Pan's Labyrinth. He's half of the creatures in Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah. He's in the Hellboy movies. This guy does not stop working, but you never see his face.
The makeup department got really snubbed in this. It wasn't, I don't even believe they were nominated. Granted, they had some serious competition this year.
Darkest Hour was that was really,
it was insane.
Phenomenal makeup.
But they got costume design, and I think the reason they got this one got costume design was because they thought that this fish suit was just a costume. And we had this argument too, because I was like, well, no, it got nominated for costumes, it's not snubbed at all.
Yeah.
And then I did some research, and that entire costume had to be applied like makeup.
With makeup, yeah.
It wasn't something you just...
And 99% of it is practical. The only thing that's done in CG, I was looking this up, were his eyes. This section of his face was done in CG because Doug Jones couldn't see through the actual suit, so they ended up just taking the eyes out and doing that in post.
Wow, okay. Well, you couldn't... I mean,
you can't tell, but everything else, like, it took him 3 hours to get into that suit. That's not just a suit. That's
every day,
Every day, 3 hours to take it up, put it on.
I mean, I watched it, and there's videos out there online, you can look at it, like, they're applying the suit to him.
It's all in pieces.
Makeup artists.
Yeah, it's makeup artists.
So they're probably perhaps the most snubbed this year.
It's just this industry is so silly. I mean, there are moments though in this movie that will make you want to cry. They'll make you smile. It makes your heart warm. It'll make you want to hide your eyes because it's either gory or scary.
And most importantly, I think it's a movie that makes you think.
And it makes you think about this movie. I've been thinking about this movie ever since. This is one of the reasons we're doing this episode. Yeah. We were talking about, like, should we do it? I mean, it won Best Picture, and we usually talk about movies that no one's heard of. But this one, we just had to do it because I thought it was so good. And it's literally a mix of every kind of movie.
Yeah. So, all right, so let's get to it. What's your score for this film?
Oh, man, this is really, really hard. I'm going to go... This might be the first time ever, and I think some people are going to disagree with me. I'm going to go 10 out of 10.
Not hard for me. I'm going to give the same score, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It just had everything in it.
That's a first for us. Yeah. 2 10s.
I mean, and if you go through this movie trying to find any flaws, you're really hunting.
All right, so we have a 10 out of 10 here, 10 out of 10 with Sam. Why don't you comment down below? Tell us what you think of The Shape of Water. We obviously liked it. We want to know what you think. Stick around for our spoiler cast, which will be going into the juicy, watery details of The Shape of Water.
It's very liquidy episode.
Yes, yeah. You're probably going to have to pee at the end of it. I'm just going to be forewarning you. All right, so we'll see you in a couple days. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of The Film With No Name. Thank you for watching. If you guys know of any cool independent films that might need a little bit of love and you'd like to watch us review it, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, hit the notification button, and, share it with your friends, because we need more viewers. We'll see you next week.